Okay, boys and girls, happy Monday. It is May 4th. Today for reading, your skill is going to be making connections. So I don't know if you saw last week, there was a short video of me going over the different types of connections. There are 3 different ways to make a connection while reading. Text to text, text to self, and text to world. You will need an electronic device with sound, making connections chart, and there's nothing that you have to actually submit or turn in today. For writing, your skill is going to be an introduction to fantasy narratives. So we're still working on narratives, but it's going to be more of a fantasy type, which is so much fun because you get to be very creative. You're going to need an electronic device with sound. A fantasy narrative is an imaginative story. As a writer, you get to think creatively to create a made-up story that could not happen in real life. So now is when you could be so creative, and now is when you could have talking animals and unicorns and flying bicycles or whatever you want, because this is fantasy. It can't really happen. So I think these are going to be a lot of fun to create and a lot of fun to read. Foundations, your skill is trick word practice. You need an electronic device with sound, your words, a word search, and your trick words are father, brother, and mother. So again, you're going to skywrite. That really helps with the memorization. All right. So remember, when we skywrite, we have our arm out stiff. You could hold your elbow if you need to. You're spelling the word in the air. Okay. Make sure first you're thinking, what's tricky about this word? Look at the word. Write it down. What's tricky about it? Okay. You're skywriting it. Then you dip your skywriter in paint. Close your eyes. You're going to skywrite it again. Okay. And then you can either use, if you have an easel with a whiteboard, a chalkboard, or write on a hard surface, you're going to doodle the word in front of you, and you can trace and erase it, just like we would do in class. I love doing the trick words. Lots of fun. For math, your skill is rounding to the nearest 10. You will need an electronic device with sound. There's a link to a rounding game. There's a rounding chart and a rounding worksheet. When you round to the nearest 10, look at the digit in the ones place. If the digit is 0 to 4, round down. If the digit is 5 to 9, round up. Okay? Now, the math lessons we're kind of switching up. So from now on, we're going to try to just do 1-day lessons. So really, really important. So far, pretty much all of our lessons have been 2 days. We're breaking it up now. So we're just putting less in each lesson. So this is a 1-day lesson. So this is due, this one is due today. Okay? There's a really fun rounding song too. I have to check out and see. I can't remember if we put it in or not, but if not, I would love to add that for you guys. It's a really fun rounding song to help you kind of remember how, if it's 0 to 4, you round down, 5 or 9, round up. It helps you to remember that. Science, we're going to just go switching gears, switching over to science, plants and animals. What do plants and animals need? You need an electronic device with sound. So again, this is for the week. Okay, so we're thinking about plants and animals. They each have basic needs in order to survive. Watch the video to learn the basic needs of living things. So again, you can break up the science as you choose. If you want to get it all done with, if you want to break it up day by day, it's up to you. Don't forget, of course, you always have those additional resources. So let's head on over to the classroom. You have your Monday checklist in here. If you open it up, you'll notice how some of it stays the same. Your RAS Kids will stay there. IXL stays there. But some important points to remember is, for reading, there's nothing to submit today. Math is optional. Submit worksheet through DocHub or email picture to your teacher. That's optional. You don't have to. Okay. Writing, there's a Google slide that I'll show you how to do that. You're going to turn the slide in. Foundations is optional to send the word search, okay, email or DocHub. And science, social studies, send a picture of observations or DocHub. So let's take a peek at the assignments. So math, okay. Another thing that you're going to see what we did is we've decided, instead of having you guys scroll all the way down, so many assignments are getting added, that we decided to put the most current assignment, the new assignment for today, is up at the top. So this way, as soon as you see the topic math, boom, it's right underneath. Today is 5-4, rounding numbers. Okay, so I hope that doesn't confuse anybody. So when you click on that, view material, okay, remember to stop videos at any point to calculate, work out answers for your math, or to do your thinking. So you're going to learn how to round numbers. So there's a brain pop video. There's a hundreds chart to help. There's a little game. And then there's a worksheet. So the worksheet here, again, optional to hand in. What I might do is I might add a little link here. There's like a really fun YouTube video that is sung to the tune of "We Will Rock You." This just came to my mind. I might add that in just for your reference. Kind of like it's very catchy too. The song will get stuck in your head. But let's see. So there's your sheet, and if you go over, I know I showed you this maybe last week, but if you go over to this little hot dog here, open in a new window, open with, go to DocHub, and now, so this is what that means when it says submit through DocHub. So this is where you can add a text box, and then if you could click right on there, and now you'll be able to, put your numbers in. Probably easier than using the tool. There is a tool as well. If you want to draw freehand and you want to write the numbers in like this, okay, there is the tool there. A little harder to use, but you can do that. Okay, so there's your sheet, and it comes with the key too for a self-check. But that's optional to submit. And let's see, I just log out of it. Let's go back. So that's math. Okay, so that's for today for math. So that's due today. That's one day. Writing. So again, right under writing, it's the very first thing that you see. Fantasy narrative. What is it? So a fantasy narrative is a type of fiction writing. Fantasy means using your imagination, and narrative means story. When you write a fantasy narrative, you use your imagination to write a story that could not really happen in real life. Complete the interactive activity. So there's a video. It's pretty quick. It's only 1 minute. I actually think I'm going to share it with you now. Did I keep my sound on? I hope so. Let's see if you guys could hear this. Okay, so imaginative narrative, a fantasy, okay? I'm really excited about it. I think this one's going to be so much fun. So there is a Google Doc that has examples, okay? So if you're interested in listening to some fantasy ones, you could click on these links to listen to them. So there are several stories. Probably already familiar with The Day the Crayons Quit, right? So think about that. So the crayons, they're talking, right? They're acting like people, right? Crayons can't really do that, right? So that's fantasy. So what you're going to do today for writing, there's a Google slide. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me X this out because you're going to want to click this, view assignment. So now there's that turn in button. So you're going to click your slide. So this, best way is try not to email this one to me. If we just all press that turn in button, it'll be a lot easier to kind of manage. So here's your slides. So it says drag and drop the X to the cover of the book that you think is a fantasy narrative. Remember, fantasy means using your imagination and narrative means story. So just like in that video that we just watched, you're going to place an X on the books that you think are imaginative narrative. So again, you're going to, drag and drop wherever you think these X's go, whichever ones you think are going to be fantasy. So Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Bats, Where the Wild Things Are, Corduroy Takes a Bow, Recycle, How Flowers Grow. Think, which of these stories are fantasy? Which of these stories cannot really happen? You're going to take the X's, drag them, boop, you can put them right on top of the book or, wherever they go, wherever you think they belong. Okay, the X's are there. Now, instead of doing this, instead of pressing share, when you're done putting your X's everywhere, X out, and then hit this button right here, this black button, turn in, turn in. So you're only going to see that button when you press the view assignment. So if you do what I first did, so if you just click the slide, you're not going to see the turn in button. You have to make sure you go right here to view assignment. That's where that turn in button is going to be. So you want to click that. Okay. Then reading. So right up at the top, today's May 4th. Fiction reading, day 11. So we said we were going to talk about making connections. When reading a text, we should be looking for ways we can connect to the story. A connection can be text to self, or text to the world. Look at the anchor chart below. Listen to Owl Moon. Watch the video about how Miss Manna made a connection to the story and jotted about it. So again, there's nothing to submit today. So you're just, watching the video. Here's a chart for you. Watch Miss Manna. So just think about, we've done this in class before where we would stop and jot and you would have your little posties and you would make a connection like this reminds me of, you're going to see Miss Manna doing that. So nothing to submit today. Tomorrow you're going to have something to turn in. Foundations right at the top. Okay, week 2, day 1, we're in unit 9. Watch the drill sounds video. Repeat each sound card like we would in class, right? Skywrite this week's trick words, father, brother, mother. Tell someone at home, why are they tricky? What's tricky about these words? Print and complete the word search. You may take a picture and email it to your teacher when you have finished. Okay, so there's the drill sounds. And then this is a PDF. You actually, if you want to do the same thing and do this through DocHub, you can do that. Again, go to the hot dog, all right, the way I just opened it before. And if you want to use like the tool, and circle the words and everything in there, and then you would press that turn in button. So you could totally do that instead of just taking a picture of it. Okay. And then, so social studies, again, you're not doing anything. You're going to see that these are the same, maps and continents and communities. So that's the same. This week we're doing science. So basic needs of plants and animals. So I know it looks like a lot here, but this is your assignment for, for the week. So in order to survive, animals and plants have basic needs. Animals need air, water, food, and shelter, protection from predators and the environment. Plants need air, water, nutrients, and light. For science this week, we will have the opportunity to recognize these needs by observing and then describing the natural world. We will also take a look at the life cycle of plants and animals. We will see the stages they goes through from the beginning of its life until the end, when the process starts all over again. The following steps are due by the end of the day, Wednesday. You may choose when to complete. Okay, so I know I said Friday, because I think we had for Thursday, Friday, we were going to do another little activity since Mother's Day is coming up. So we had something else in mind for Thursday and Friday. So if you can hand this in by Wednesday, that would be helpful. So really, if you think about it, you're listening to basic needs of plants and animals. So there's a video here, a little bit long, 8 minutes. Grab a blank piece of paper or use the Google Doc right here that's attached. Look outside and observe the plants and animals around. Draw and write about one thing you notice about each. One picture, an observation about an animal. One picture, an observation about a plant. When completed, take a picture and email it to your teacher. Watch the animal's life cycle video and how does a seed become a plant. Okay, hold on, bud. So there are 3 videos here. Okay, and then you're going to just be doing your drawings, your observation drawings. When you're done with all of that, go ahead, buddy. When you're done with all that, you can log onto IXL and click the Science tab. Under the headings, there's animals, practice numbers 1 and 2. There's plants, practice numbers 3 and 4. So if we're just watching these videos and then doing our observation, I think that's pretty reasonable that you can have this done by Wednesday, because then we have our other little special thing planned. Okay, so you can, if you want to print this out, you could do it on here, but if you want to just save ink, save some paper, you can just do it on a blank sheet of paper, and that's okay too. Okay. And then, of course, you always have all of your additional resources down here, lots of things. Remember, my morning meetings will always be here. Here, take that, bud. Okay.